And so that's enormously labor intensive.
Very, very labour intensive compared to the flax, which really is a gift, you know. It wants to be string. So, have you made string before?
A little bit, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
You just pay too? So this is flax pretty much straight from the field. It's been very slightly retted, which just means it's been allowed to just break down a little bit in the field. Okay, so that's it. So just give it a wiggle until you can break off the twiggy bits. That's it. So flax is beautiful to work with because it's so easy to prepare.
Wow.
It doesn't take. It takes almost nothing to get you down to the fibres. If you were doing
nettles.
So nettles, this is the very first of this year's nettles. They're only just coming into flower, so they're just starting to come through now. So with nettles, the difference is you've got these leaf nodes. And those get in the way of you doing that lovely smooth strip. Same idea though, you split it in half, break it open, and the fibre keeps vanishing.
Can you use the same, if you're doing it a slightly more modern way, can you do it with the same hackle and everything
You
else?
can, but nettle fibre tends to come off short.
Oh, okay.
So highly processed nettle fibre comes out like this. It's just got shorter fibres.
It's almost
and this
like
is
cotton wool.
Yeah, and it's got a slightly heavier feel at this stage, but you can get it down to almost silk-like fibres. So the same technique as you've probably done before. For most people, the easiest way is fold it in half, just clip my finger, twist away, cross down, twist away, cross down, to set up your cordage. Yeah, that's it. So that's the method that most people learn. That works really well. When you come to layer new fibres, what I find is always better is to lay them right across both sides rather than just splicing on one side. That gives you a much finer and smoother and much stronger string because you haven't got any weak points where it can pull back out.
I didn't understand the difference.
Okay, so it's just one of those weird things that you find with the bushcraft world. Virtually every video on string will say when you need to lay a new string, just lay it in down the side and keep twisting. And that works, but if you lay it in so it goes right across both sides of your work, it twists in instantly, so you can't see that you've got a join.
So it's like a J, it goes up.
Yes, yeah. But also, there's nothing to pull out. If I find that new bit and pull, it can't pull out, and you've got no hairy bits sticking out of your string, which are often a feature when you're learning to make string and you haven't quite got the subtleties right. That will give you a much, much finer, much stronger, much more consistent string. And generally what you'll find is that you'll get the feel of your particular fibre, and I tend to find I twist an inch, lay in just another fibre or two, twist an inch, lay in just a fibre or two, little and often, and then I'll have a totally consistent string with no obvious weak points, which I can do forever. So for something like this hairnet, that starts in the middle, that loop there is there, that's right in the middle. And I'm just taking stitches into it, so I'm working...
Is this null bending?
It's essentially the forerunner of that.
Okay,
this is simple looping, but yes, this becomes null binding in time. So needle comes in, needle comes out. This blanket stitch is what most people would call this one. Very simple looping. This is based on finds from a Mesolithic site in Denmark called Tiberinvig. And what I'll do is I'll stitch until I start running out of string, drop my needle to my work, make some more string, move my needle up, take a few stitches, so the needle stays on for the whole thing. There's no joins, this has no ends because I'm always adding to it, which means there's no knots to look unpleasant or to be weak spots, and you just work until the piece is the right size. That old joke, how long is a piece of string? Doesn't work for the Neolithic. It's, well, how big's your project?
It's awesome.
Yeah. So we've got a totally different attitude to string today. We think about string as something you buy in a ball and slice up. I need to make something, I'll make it as I go. And so many projects you can do this with.
That's genius. Well, it's also nice because the tedium of the string is broken out.
And from a demonstration perspective, if I get scouts coming past or something, it's great because I can show them only what I'm making, but what to make with it. And they're not having to watch me make a mile of string and then start a project. It's, I can do a bit of this, I can do a bit of that, I can do this, a bit of that.
I've always been impressed by knot binding because of the way that it fits in with weaving. You always have the cut off ends, and so you're able to use all those short
Yes,
lengths.
yes, and it does lend itself to shorter lengths. That does make it slower.
This lends
So
itself.
something that I could, so let's say I set out to knit a sock.
Okay.
I can knit a sock in 8 hours.
Okay.
To null bind the same sock with the same yarn and a similar looking stitch is going to take me twice as long.
Really?
Because of that stopping and starting for
Well,
the
that
end,
explains
and the
how we
fact you
switched
have to
over.
pull the loops through. So it lends itself to slightly different structures, but yeah, you're right, it absolutely lends itself to being worked with relatively short pieces. But you can do it this way, and I think this is where it starts. So when I teach null binding classes, I have them make a piece of string first. And they always start by going, well, what happens now if we poke the end of your work through here? Well, I've got a starting loop, haven't I?
Yeah.
Whatever null binding stitch I'm going to work, you can often work off the starting loop.
Yeah.
And once they've seen, that's fine, I can add string to it as I go. I don't have to start with the, I must chop pieces up or use loom fronts. You get the sense of how in very, very early prehistory, and we think this is a very early technique, it probably goes back to the Paleolithic. It's a bit hard to prove, but we feel that's what's happening. You can see how it could develop from relatively simple techniques through to ones that then use, this is a simple technique, but ones that interlink more stitched together to give you denser structures. Yeah, and then null binding grows out of that.
It's incredible. Once you have the basic sheet, just making it denser is something that becomes fairly natural.
Yeah, it's just about size.
Controlling the
yes,
gauge.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's incredible. And what is this technique called that you're doing now?
Most people would call this simple looping, or blanket stitch is the modern sort of embroidery stitch that is most closely related to it. Really all you're doing is needle comes in, needle comes up, and you've made a loop. So simple looping.
Simple looping. Wow.
If I want to make it bigger, so when I'm increasing here, I might work 2 stitches into the same place to give me this. If I was trying to make it smaller, I might ignore a stitch and just go on to the next one to pull it in. So you can do straightforward shaping without any difficulty. What I like as well is with something like this, I've got crazy hair, so something that keeps my hair out of my eyes while work is great. But if I was out and about and I found, I don't know, maybe some crab apples or hazelnuts or something,
You've got a bag.
I've got a little bag right there.
That's perfect.
So it's very useful for all sorts of
double purpose.
Yeah.
Well, that's incredible. And this technique, do you think also goes back to the Neolithic?
We've certainly got fragments from the Mesolithic, so earlier.
So
there's a site in Denmark called Tiberen which has got fragments of this. We don't know what it was because they're only bits.
Right.
It could have been clothing, it could have been a bag, it could have been a hairnet, it could even been a cheese strainer. There's many things it could be.
Right.
But they've got a couple of different techniques. There's this one, and then looping around a core, which same technique, but there's also a string running through the edges, which just means it doesn't stretch in every direction. Now that would lend itself to something like a cheese strainer, I could imagine.
Yeah.
Lining that with grass, pouring curds, that would work really, really well. We scalded that afterwards. Makes great hats. A couple of our lot got hats made out of it. So there's so many different ways of using it.
So, do you mind?
Yes, that's fine.
This is this is nettle fiber.
So that's some of the nettle fiber.
Oh, wow, I had no idea the fibers were. Wow.
They can be finer than that.
That's actually quite impressive.
Yeah, that's about what I could achieve. This has been mechanically processed. This is nettle that's been mechanically processed.
My word.
This is your processing.
I didn't do that, but that's what I could achieve. I can get it that fine.
That's amazing.
So the nettles don't just start to run
That's
shit.
incredibly fine. I had no idea.
Yes, nettle fibres can be that fine if you keep processing them.
Yeah.
So this is the first nettle of the season. So that came off those stalks a bit earlier. It's now leathery. I could just cord that into string, but you've got a lot of the barky material.
Yeah.
This is probably actually a little
Probably
actually a little bit too dry to work now. What I would have done to get that was a little bit more leathery, but more damp. And this is probably going to crumble now because I think it's actually too dry. Yeah, but you just run a blade over it, and what you're aiming to do, what we're after, is to take off that barky layer. There's the fibres. Can you see the white fibres starting to show up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, that's from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I see that.
So you can see them. So we're taking off the outer bark, the outer bast layer. There's your fibres.
Wow. And so that's enormously labor intensive.
Very, very labour intensive compared to the flax, which really is a gift, you know. It wants to be string.
If a machine were doing this, would it use roughly the same process? It's just that you do the...
Very, very difficult to
it's just that
do
you mechanize
nettle
the
with a machine. People have tried.
Well, then didn't you say that the finer fibres were machine processed? Or?
Yeah. What they've done is it's been retted and it's been worked. But to get large amounts of just day-to-day fibres off it, hand is better. There are also different species of nettles elsewhere in the world. So the Japanese nettle doesn't grow leaf nodes in the same way. That lends itself more to mechanization. And then the Himalayan nettle, which is what my shirt's made out of. It's nettle, but it's a Himalayan nettle. Again, very, very tall. That actually is processed by hand still, but that is a little easier to apply technology to. Rami, that's used very widely commercially, that's a nettle. That one you can work commercially. There you are. So you're starting to see the fibres. So those are those fluffy fibres like that.
That's amazing.
That's those.
That's amazing.
But they'll be better in a couple of weeks. Nettle, the fibres are only starting to develop when the nettle flowers are coming through, and the nettle flowers are only just out.
And so ideally you want it
just a little bit more. They're okay now, and for quick and dirty string, it's okay. But if you can give those another couple of weeks, you'll get much more successful fibre off them.
Do you have any fibres here besides the flax and the nettles?
The flax nettle is hemp. This is hemp.
Oh, okay.
No,
it's kind of a darker blonde.
So we're not quite sure when this enters Britain. We've got a little bit of this period from Scotland, but you don't see a lot of it in the archaeological records until about the Roman period. So it's something that it starts in the Far East and it comes across slowly, gets here eventually. But that, if you compare that to the flax,
either stitched on in strings or
it works very, very nicely. Works pretty much exactly the same way.
That is a very strong fibre.
They are. They're beautifully strong, and again, the benefit of it is its length and its smoothness. You get a lot of fibre length for any section of stone that you've worked with.
A huge thank you to Sally Pointer for showing us all this really cool information about fibres. If you'd like to check out her stuff, she has started a YouTube channel and it's brand new, so I encourage you guys to go and check it out. The quality of the stuff that she puts out is just incredible, so please go check out that channel and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. If you haven't already, please hit the like button and subscribe below. Thank you.